Hello, welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers. I'm your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I'm Corwin Eller.
And today we're going to get just deeper into pitching shit.
Because we like going deep on pitchers.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it when I was digging out the topic idea this morning. And I was like, maybe I should try to talk about some hitting today.
Nah.
Well, it's just that, like, I feel like the world of baseball stats has been so much more opened by baseball savant and whatnot than hitting has, because the way we look at hitting, I think, evolved a lot with the
OPS,
plus and minus stats.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
like
OPS plus, WRC plus.
OPS is still a relatively new stat too.
Yeah. And that's what's so weird is like talking about like it's been here forever. It hasn't.
It's been like 20 years.
Yeah, and it's only been commonplace for the last like 8, really,
exactly.
Maybe like 9 or 10. But regardless,
Man, I thought I was gonna have to say like 10 years. It's from like 2000, 2001. No, that was 20 years ago.
yeah. I said 8, and I was like, 8 seems like a reasonable number, and then I thought that's 2011. I'm like, oh,
This stat is as old as I am. Ugh.
But so like, there's not exit velocity and launch angle are two big ones that have really dominated like the new wave, I guess we could say, new wave stats conversation for hitters. But we talked about them a little bit when we first started digging into Baseball Savant. So, but with Baseball Savant, they have all these different things we've already talked about and some more stuff I'm going to talk about right now, and it's just a lot. So I don't feel bad about how much pitching we've been doing recently, but it is like, it's really made me appreciate just how much shit there is on pitching now.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love pitching and I love watching pitching. But yeah, I mean, we've to some degree neglected the hitting side of it, but I feel like that's just comes with the nature of what we're talking about. Like you just hit on. So maybe we'll branch out a little bit in future.
Well, I have a little bit of hitting for today to go in with the pitching.
Just a little tip. So we're gonna go deep on pitching, but just stick the tip in for hitting.
Yeah. Just a little tongue up the ass of hitting.
Josh knows how I like it.
Oh yeah, I've tossed some salads.
I am disgusted.
Oh yeah. Juice the numbers after dark.
Oh god, that gives a whole new meaning to juicing the numbers.
Oh god, I don't like where this is going. Let's move on.
All right, this is now your fully pornographic baseball statistics podcast.
Bring out the calculator and lube. Here we go.
We are recording this on a black leather couch.
That's just so not true. Is this the casting couch? What is he doing here?
Why is he taking his belt off?
All right.
Is he a snake wrangler?
So what I decided to do was I wanted to look down. I was still thinking about like most common pitch, but this time I decided to look at it based on count.
Okay.
Because I was watching the Yankees-Red Sox game on Sunday night with Cal, and she was asking about, well, I was talking about pitch sequencing, and I was trying to play this little game where, like, here's what this guy throws. What do you think is going to happen? Like, what do you think he's going to throw? Right? I'm just trying to explain. There's like a little bit of a chess element to it, where it's like, oh, all right, what do I throw? What did I throw? What does he think I'm going to throw here? There's a lot of just thought that goes behind the pitch in addition to the actual execution of the pitch, right? Which is sequencing.
Sequencing is such a huge part that doesn't get talked about.
Right. So there's definitely a better way of doing sequencing, but I wanted to start off just by looking at what are the common pitches thrown in each count, right? Because you have to assume. Because one of the things I was telling her, I was like, so there was like a 2-1 count or a 2-0 count or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that again. There was an 0-2 count or a 1-2 count. Something where the pitcher was ahead. And I was telling her, like, this is a good place to throw out of the zone, to throw something that breaks that's going to leave the strike zone, because if he doesn't swing, you're fine. You're not behind in the count anymore. You're not going to be walking him. But if he swings, he's going to miss. It'll be a strikeout, and you'll end up actually working a little bit less because, he'll basically have struck himself out. Mm-hmm. So it's a low-risk, high-reward option for the pitcher when you're in like a 0-2, 1-2 count. And so I wanted to see.
That's why it's called a pitcher's count.
Exactly, and the converse being a hitter's count. And I expanded on it by saying, like, say he was in a 3-0 count, At this point, he needs to throw a strike, and he might even feel like, well, my mechanics are thrown off, so let's see if we can introduce just a fastball here, the most basic mechanic pitch you have, and just right myself, try to get a strike somewhere in the zone and move on from it that way. So I wanted to see if that was going to hold up and like what that looks like in the context of just common pitches thrown, get a vibe for it. Kind of like what we did in the quadrant discussion we had last stats episode.
Right.
Feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
So again,
I feel you.
we're moving on from that.
Okay, moving on.
Save that for after the recording ends.
So is this officially part 3 of our pitching series?
I'm going to call this a...
Pitches. When do they throw them? Where do they throw them? How do they throw them? Let's find
out. I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that there's going to be a lot of fastballs again, because that was the obvious trend last time. Yeah, but because we're not dealing with quadrants and we're now dealing with counts, I will assume fastballs are going to dominate just by sheer quantity as they did previously. But I'm very curious to see if I'm right. Okay. I'm going into this with the hypothesis, and I haven't looked at this yet. I'm going into this with the hypothesis that it's going to be like a lot of fastballs early, but like pitcher counts, we're going to see like breaking balls more, and hitters counts, we're going to see fastballs more. That's my guess.
So based off of all the other pitching podcasts that we've done, I'm going to just assume that our hypothesis is very wrong.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn. So I'm trying to learn. Like I'm going to say fastball is going to be the number one pitch for all of these categories, just to like hedge my bets because I don't know anything.
Right.
And that's been
do
true.
Not know anything. We should emphasize that.
And the only reason I'm guessing it is because it's been true of every single pitching podcast we've done so far. But for like the second through fourth pitches, which is what we've been kind of going off of to judge our opinions since quantity of fastball just dominates this discussion, I'm going to go on a limb and say, which again doesn't feel bold, but I've made claims that didn't feel bold in the past and they ended up being pretty fucking wrong. So I'm going to say hitters counts get fastballs and pitchers counts get breaking balls.
Okay.
That feels right.
Again, that doesn't sound like that is like a 90% odd like bet that you're placing that we're still going to get wrong.
So let's find out.
Of course.
So I built it out where we have strikes going to the right and balls going down, and then it's a little guy. So I made a little thing.
I was very concerned because I went to the eye doctors today, and now I can't see that. And then I realized because my glasses are not on.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, look at that. Letters, numbers.
So 0-0, fresh count. Nothing's going on yet. Give me what do you think?
Just like what pitch I think it's going to be?
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be fastball.
Yeah, I mean, this screams four-seam fastball. Pitchers love to start off ahead of the count. It's something that's actually kept track of pretty rigorously by not just teams, but like broadcasters. Like I hear like David Cohn of the Yankees broadcast mention how many first pitch strikes a pitcher has every single broadcast he does. And lo and behold, in no single surprise, four-seam fastball dominates this with 15,000. Second place actually being sliders. First pitch slider is kind of surprising for me.
It's the second most popular pitch.
It is, but I still kind of would have figured, if not fastball, then a different type of fastball.
Is that even right, or was it changeup?
What do you mean?
Most popular pitch.
Most popular pitch
like
was fastball.
Yeah, but like after fastball, it was.
No,
it was slider or changeup.
It was slider for all but like one category where it was changeup.
Okay, fair enough.
So fucking go figure.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It probably just comes down to a quantity thing, and as we've said in the past, like they split up two-seamer and sinker, even though a lot of pitchers refer to those as being the same thing. If you combined those two, second place would be like that two-seam sinker. But for the sake of keeping everything at a glance with how Baseball Savant does it, we'll just say slider is second here. So
I feel like this isn't going to be anything. Like, it's not really going to be much of a original thought, but I guess it's just me thinking of this in a new way. But every pitcher, 95% of pitchers can throw a fastball at a major league level and do so. but not everyone has a slider. Not everyone has a curveball. Not everyone has a changeup. So I feel like the reason why it's not necessarily that fastballs are thrown, 2-3 times as much as any of the other pitches in a single game, but because so many more pitchers literally just throw fastballs and have the ability to do so, that's why the counting numbers are up.
You're 100% right, because actually what's funny is I was about to say, I can't believe this many pitchers throw sliders, because you're right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like there's, a handful of dudes who get a bunch of innings who are throwing nothing but fastballs.
Right.
It's the fact that every single pitcher throws fastballs.
Exactly.
And that's why sliders are so high, because so many pitchers nowadays throw sliders, which feels just it makes sense based on all the discussions we've had, but it still feels strange.
Man, we're getting smarter and smarter.
We're learning. We're gonna like run the Mets in a few years.
Honestly, what's their pitching coach, like 92 years old now? It might not be a few years. It might be next week.
Yeah. Their pitching coach is going to be like artificial intelligence soon. Actually, I want to talk about the Mets at the end of this.
Marcus Stroman.
I was going to say I want to talk about it at the end of this, because I'm so fucking confused. But so actually, I'll give you like a first through fourth. So first place is four-seam fastball. Second place is slider. Third place is curveball.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love it, but interesting.
4,132 of those, which is pretty odd. And then third place is two-seamer. Fourth place is sinker. So pretty much right in line with what we thought there, except curveball being an option. I would think changeup would be in there too. It is fifth, but I would think it'd be more, because I don't, and I've said this before, I don't get why every single major league pitcher doesn't throw a changeup. Because like we just said, every pitcher can throw a fastball. You learn how to throw a fastball as the first real pitch you learn how to throw. The changeup seems to me to be such, not only a mechanically similar pitch to throw, but a logical one to pair with a fastball, that so many relief pitchers and even starters can base their repertoire off of those two pitches being the same look, but that difference in speed. And I don't get why everyone doesn't throw it.
I'm going to assume, based off of no prior knowledge or pitching experience, that it's just the difficulty of distinguishing the changeup from the fastball enough in location and speed, while also having to maintain the same like arm tunneling, arm angle, release location. I just noticed a giant fucking bruise on my arm that I have no idea where it came from, but whatever.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's might be difficult for pitchers to make that distinction and still keep that pitching motion in line with their fastball.
No, you're 100% right. Like, that's got to be what it is. There's got to be some like minutia of the mechanics that I'm missing that is resulting in it not being a pitch thrown by literally everyone. But it seems to me just so strange that it's not, because from the minimalistic perspective I have of what pitching is, it would just seem to make so much sense.
Man throws ball, hit pitcher, or hit catcher, not batter. Simple as that.
Yeah, so if like Kyle Bodie, a drive liner, if that pitching ninja guy could hit us up and just tell us why we're wrong, like I would honestly love it. Like I'm here.
Maybe we should reach out to Pitching Ninja.
Hey, Rob.
I mean, we're not Marcus Stroman, so like he probably won't respond to us, but you never know.
Yeah, those two need to just get a room already. Increasing by strikes, because then we'll end on full count.
Okay.
So 0-1, you're ahead in the count.
Yes.
Not by a lot. It's still early. What do you think?
I mean,
it's obviously still going to be four-seam. I'm not even going to look at it. It's obviously.
Do you want to
still
just
gonna be
have this discussion outside of fastball?
Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we've been doing. So yeah. I think it might get interesting a little bit later on, but up until then, yeah, that's fine.
So, do you have this just broken down with raw numbers?
Yeah.
Do you know how difficult it would be to add a percentage tally in, just so? Because if we're looking at these raw numbers, it's going to be hard to distinguish it, because I feel like it's not going to change much at all. But if we could look at, okay, so here we see sliders decreasing and all that. Here we see, fastballs increasing, whatnot. It might be easier for us to kind of distinguish this stuff.
Let me work on that.
All right, so I'm going to give you, if we don't cut this out, which I have a feeling we might.
I never cut anything out because I'm really lazy.
Well, there you go. Oh, fuck. All right, can we cut that out?
No, everything must
Shit.
stay.
All right, so to our lovely listeners, we are watching the Washington Nationals pitch against the Atlanta Braves. Washington is currently ahead 2-1 at the top of the fifth. 2 outs. Patrick Corbin is
Wait,
on
are
the
you
mound.
just describing this?
Yes,
Why would you do such a thing?
because I have nothing to add about any of this. Marlins man's at the game. Marlins man.
Wait, is he really?
Because
Because he was just at he was just in Boston for the Yankees Red Sox game. That's so funny.
Yeah, he's at National Park, right? Remember when we went to the Yankees game and we saw him?
Yeah, we walked right by that dude.
I'm really upset I didn't ask for a picture, which
So-
I really try not to do, but it would have been so cool to get a picture with Marlins man.
I'm going to the Yankees game tomorrow, and I don't want to see J Happ pitch in person. Like, I don't care.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to a Yankees game and you don't care about the pitcher?
I mean, would you care about seeing J Happ pitch at this point?
No, not really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really care.
Ooh, nice close-up of Marlins man. Oh,
I'm not
going
going to do this because for whatever reason I can't get the Excel to lock the cell that I wanted to do. So we're just going to move on.
All right, well,
Um,
so much for having a good episode for you guys.
Lick
It's
my
ruined.
butthole. So it's four-seam fastball. It's slider at second. It's changeup now enters the mix at third.
Because of course it does.
Which I guess so. And then it's followed by curveball at about 3,900 pitches, and then the barrage of two-seamers. Cutter's also there. Cutter's hanging around there at like the 6th most often thrown pitch. But yeah, so what do you think of the addition of changeup? Do you think it follows the logic I just said? A lot of people open with the fastball, four-seam, and then to give the same look, they're going to throw the changeup.
Makes sense.
Is that it?
I feel like we're gonna see changeup show up a lot when it's a very what's the term I'm looking for? It's a very hitter-friendly count, and they're expecting the fastball, so then they're going to start throwing the changeup. A little bit of a prematurely shooting my wad, if you will, on what should have been a dry run. Fucked up that quote, but whatever. We'll roll with it.
All right. So, yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. I'm just going to forget about that fucking shit entirely.
We're so good at this.
So far, we've had one ephus thrown on the 0-0 count.
Literally just about to ask how many ephuses we have.
I love ephus watch so much.
Great. I need to follow them. I'm actually going to do that right now.
We have one ephus thrown on the 0-1 count. So we have 2 ephuses so far. How many ephuses? Ephi. do you think?
You.
Do you think I've thrown on the 0-2 count?
On the 0-2 count, how many ephuses are thrown on the 0-2 count? Probably
How many
0.
ephuses? 11.
What?
11 ephuses thrown on 0-2. Now, if I had to ascribe logic to this, and I'm going to really stretch it here because I don't know why you would just do this. I said waste a pitch earlier, but that's like a pitch. And as we've discussed previously on the podcast, the ephus is not a pitch. The ephus is a lob. It's a throw.
It's not a pitch.
It's an attempt. And so maybe like, hitters are really like sitting fastball on 0-2 or something to that effect, and you're just going to give them the most polar opposite look like you possibly can. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, so I do want to say something now that I just thought of it. Can we go through and break down, like do an episode on like breaking down all of the ephus pitches in like the past like 2 years or so and like see how effective they actually are?
I would actually love to do that at some point. That sounds like a great idea. Anyway.
Anywho.
Yeah, moving on. So for the 0-2 count, I would have been expecting a lot more breaking stuff. This is where I said like it's a pitcher count now. They are more free to move around out of the zone, try to catch a batter looking just in trying to make contact in a position where they shouldn't be, swinging at stuff they shouldn't be swinging at. So I was going to be expecting slider to be more present here. There's actually fewer sliders thrown 0-2 than there are 0-1. But not a lot. Like, there was 7,498 sliders thrown 0-1.
You want to know why I think it is?
7,424 sliders thrown 0-2. Why do you think that is?
Because I feel like this puts the hitter on edge, that they know they're in an 0-2 count. They know they have to be patient with what they swing at. So if they see a slider and they're able to identify it as being a slider, they're going to assume it's out of the zone, and they're going to just trust that the sliders most likely are going to end up out of the zone anyway, or at least close to it. Might as well just hold off and take the pitch rather than attempting to swing at it.
I'll take that. I don't have any good explanation for it.
Yeah.
Fastballs definitely goes down as the counts progress. So this is actually kind of interesting. So 15,162 four-seam fastballs on a 0-0, like the opening pitch. 13,277 four-seam fastballs on an 0-1 pitch. So that's a drop of about 1,900.
Okay, what percentage is that?
Fuck off. Four-seam fastball on an 0-2 count, 11,114. So another drop off of about 2,000. All well and told, that's about 4,000 fewer four-seam fastballs thrown 0-2 relative to 0-1. Or sorry, relative to an opening pitch.
Love.
That is interesting.
I wouldn't say it's out of line of our original reasoning, though.
No, it makes sense, and you also do see someone like the smaller pitches like increase in size. Like, knuckle curve goes from. Actually, sorry, not knuckle curve. Let's go with. Oh no, that is knuckle curve. God damn it! There's only two abbreviations that start with the letter K, and I mix them up constantly.
Good.
Even though no one throws a knuckleball.
Who doesn't?
Anyway.
Well, R.A. Dickey is now unsubscribing from us.
No, we're sorry, Raw.
Ja.
I really think that
Hap and Raw Dickey.
I was gonna say I really think that J Hap should just go by Ja Hap.
Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Ja Rule could hang out together.
Yeah, they're gonna compare their own gaming systems.
That was not Ja Rule. Thank you very much.
That wasn't Ja Rule? Oh, it was
No.
Soulja Boy.
Yeah, it was Soulja Boy.
I forgot which washed early 2000s
Yeah, exactly.
Bob Arts it was. Anyway, so knuckle curve goes. Actually, no, it's relatively steady. I was wrong. I'm trying to see. There's at least one pitch that got added because the number of pitch types did increase, and I'm trying to find where that point
while
was.
Looking at that, I'm gonna make
pitch outs.
I'm gonna guess that a pitch out.
Yeah, pitch outs.
Yeah, pitch out on 0-2 count. That makes a lot of sense.
It's on 0-1 and 0-2. It's not on the opening pitch, which I'm not sure what to make of that, because I feel like if you're worried about the runner going, you're worried about them going in any count. So why would it matter? I mean,
what are the numbers of pitch outs? Like, are they crazy
5
high?
each?
So it could literally just be that it
Statistic.
Just hasn't happened.
Yeah. It just that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah. Anyway, sliders still come in second on the 0-2 pitch at 7,424, as I mentioned. Third place is pretty evenly distributed between curveball and changeup. Curveball's on top at 34.23, followed by changeup at 30.95. And then it gets pretty well distributed amongst the next three places, with cutter at 16.02, two-seamer at 14.99, and sinker at 13.93. So, and knuckle curve at 9.39 for the low end of that. So there is a nicer distribution of pitches on 0-2, which tells me that maybe pitchers are just trying to work on some stuff on 0-2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just throwing what they think they need to rein in, or working on something that they're just comfortable with.
Yeah,
or maybe opposite, not comfortable with, and just trying to get comfortable with it. That makes more sense.
I get what you mean. So let's go down to if, say, this count was to start with a ball being thrown. So instead, we're now in a 1-0 count. So what do you think the second most oft thrown pitch is in a 1-0 count?
Change up.
Still a slider.
Damn,
it's
right.
still
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. So third is change up. A respectable third place is change
Fair
up.
enough. I'll take it.
So there's 14,000-ish four-seam fastballs, 6,400-ish sliders, 5,400-ish change-ups, and then it gets pretty evenly distributed after that. 3,900 two-seamers, 3,500 sinkers, 2,800 cutters. Yeah, I mean, nothing really surprising here. Yeah, I have nothing to say about this, honestly.
Yeah, I don't. If we had percentages to talk about, I could throw
Dude,
something
lick
in there.
my balls.
Josh,
Yeah?
did you not say that we cannot talk about porn anymore this podcast?
All right, but lick my balls. Anyway. So let's go into a 1-1 count.
Okay.
And technically even count, although in general you will hear pitchers say that they feel a little bit more breathing room in a 1-1 count since there's only 2 strikes to a strikeout, but 3 more balls to a ball. Any takes on this?
Again, no. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is pretty much as is here. Again, we see the number of forcing fastballs decrease now that we have a strike on the board. It does go down again by about like 1,100 fewer, which is noticeable to a degree. Second place is still sliders. Third place is still changeup. Did we see this much changeup when we did in the zone versus out of the zone? I feel like it wasn't third place so consistently.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I feel like it was pretty just kind of there in terms of it.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was never really close to the top, but never really far down the list either.
Yeah, I want to say it was hovering around like that 6th through 4th place category. So to see it like firmly in there at third, makes me think that maybe it was just really evenly distributed as to kind of like where it went.
I guess so. That would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was gravitated more towards the bottom. Like when we got to the bottom of the zone, it was far more represented because that's the nature of a changeup. But still, I mean, pretty interesting here. So
gravity does its thing.
So what's interesting to me about this next one, though, the 1-2 count, is that for the first time, putting another strike on the board did not reduce the number of fastballs, forcing fastballs. It actually went up a tick. So it went from 12,924 on a 1-1 count to 12,999 on a 1-2 count. So it didn't go up a lot, but it went up a tick.
Right.
I don't get what's so drastically different about a 1-2 count as opposed to an 0-2 count, where you would see, was that like over 1,000? Yeah, well over almost 2,000 more fastballs thrown on the 1-2 versus. Now this might sound like way too in detail.
Okay.
Like no, I mean what we're talking about right now is like why throw 2,000 more fastballs 0-2 as compared to what? I guarantee you every single pitcher would have a reason for this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like I've heard CC Sabathia talk about pitch sequencing and like
because they know more about it than we do.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it might sound crazy if you're not like this into baseball, which is fine. You don't need to be.
But why are you listening to us?
Exactly. But so it might sound like, wow, this is like splitting hairs. And like I guarantee you it's not. And that's one of the things I love about pitch sequencing is that it's never splitting hairs. There is a reason. And I don't know what it would be about what's different about 0-2 to 1-2 that would lead to so many more of these forcing fastballs being present. You got anything?
Again, I feel like the difference really is only in my simple-minded brain. It's okay, maybe it's just literally within the margin of error. Not margin of error, but you know what I mean. Like it just so happens that there were more fastballs thrown. They weren't trying to throw more fastballs. It so happened to be that more were thrown. So be it. Like I feel, in all honesty, I feel like all possible original thought I could have had on this has been said right at the start, and I don't have a crazy amount to add. Like I never pitch, so I don't know the difference between all this kind of shit.
I understand. Yeah. I don't know either.
I mean, I know we're watching Dallas Keuchel right now, and I know that's how he can get away with throwing an 89-mile-an-hour fastballs because it all comes down to his pitch sequencing. Like he just threw 3 straight balls in the dirt in front of home plate under 80 miles an hour and then just took an 87 mile an hour fastball high and up and struck out Juan Soto. Full count too.
Yeah, so actually I finally got Excel to agree with me. It's so funny how like I can do a VLOOKUP and like an if then or if match or some shit. Or a pivot table because I do this every day at work, but like I never have to like lock a cell like this for like so it seems like it's a more basic function, but I just couldn't get it for some reason. I got it. So
I just want to let everyone know that I saw Josh like going back and forth between like Chrome
Google.
and Excel, and I was like, oh my God, I need to come up with something to talk about for the next like 3 or 4 minutes.
So what's interesting is, and it is so refreshing to have the percentages here.
Oh yeah,
is that so as a total number of pitches, yes, it's higher on 1-2. As a percentage, it is actually lower.
Huzzah.
So it's 2,000 pitches greater, roughly, like more like 1,800, but it's 3 percentage points fewer as a total. So I'm trying to see what makes up for like the loss in percentages. Curveballs thrown the exact same rate, 11% each, with 2 strikes on. Changeups actually is a tick higher percentage wise. It's 12% of the time thrown on 1-2 counts as compared to 10% of the time in 0-2 counts. But a lot of this pretty much holds pretty steady. So
like again, these are numbers within the margin of error.
Yeah, I guess it really does. I want to find more meaning out of it. I guess there isn't any, but I want to find it.
Again, Rob, hit us up, man. Pitching Ninja, we need you.
If you had to start a like a YouTube, Twitter kind of deal, where would you go? What would you do?
I know I've talked about him before, but what Brett Coleman does, where he just finds something, he just takes something that he notices on the field, like for football, he does it. He just notices a trend that he sees on Sundays, and he's like, all right, let's figure this the fuck out. And he'll just watch all the film for like, my favorite so far is the one he did on the Bears defense last year. And he's like, he just watched every snap of every play for the Bears defense last year and was like, why did they become so good? And why is Eddie Jackson one of the best safeties out of nowhere? And it's just like, just find shit I want to talk about and figure it out. Maybe I would just have my own little YouTube channel where I stare into a webcam and talk shit about like the Pirates for 3 hours a day.
Like any good self-respecting Pirates fan would do.
Yeah, you know, an Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell hate group.
You mean support group?
Support group would probably be more well received. Did you see the shit Lev posted today on Twitter? He was like,
"Oh, his apology to fantasy owners."
Yeah, he apologized to all fantasy owners for last year and said that he'd make it up to them this year because it was totally different.
Now, to be fair, that's hilarious.
Oh my God, yeah. I hate how much I still like Le'Veon Bell as a person.
I love how much you still like Le'Veon Bell as a person because he now plays for my team and it makes me really happy.
Ugh. I will never wear a Jets Le'Veon Bell jersey, but damn.
Oh, then don't check your mail for a few days.
Oh, God.
Imagine. I'm not buying you a jersey.
Yeah.
All right, so 2-0 pitch. All right, pitcher is off to a rocky start.
Yeah, not great.
Now, you can argue he was nibbling corners. You can argue a bad call. Regardless, we're in a hole here.
You can argue he just sucks.
On a 2-0 count? That's a bit harsh.
Well, I'm sure it's like a chicken or the egg. Like, is he a shitty pitcher because he got into an 0-2 count, or is he a shitty pitcher and that's why he's in the 0-2 count?
Or again, he just missed his spots. You know,
No,
sometimes it happens, man. You can't be so critical.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way, 1-0, whatever. You know, 1-0, a first pitch ball where it's still 3 more pitches in either direction to get an outcome. Whatever. It really doesn't have that big of a deal. 2-0, you're not sweating yet, but you got to say to yourself, like, this next pitch needs to be a strike. Because it can't be 3-0. Like,
right.
3-0 it's now I have no more room for error, and the hitter gets to be in a very common phrase in baseball. The hitter gets to be in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you don't want because now the hitter is in a very we'll get to that at 3-0. So anyway, what do you think we're throwing here?
I think it's going to go fastball, changeup, slider.
So it is going to be fastball. This is
Because obviously.
First time slider is not second. It's now two-seam.
Oh.
Yeah, which is really odd.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if
what?
So as a percent when we had the 1-0 pitch, right? You threw your first pitch ball. That was sad. Feelings were hurt. Whatever. 35% of the time, it was a fastball, a four-seam fastball on a 1-0 count. On a 2-0 count, it's 45%. So as you can see, this pitcher is like, we need to get a strike, and so that makes sense. I'm wondering though if maybe two-seamer enters the mix now because it's like, all right, I can't throw another four-seam fastball. Let me throw a different fastball that's still probably going to be in the zone, but will like look a little different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You sold me. Yeah.
That's my justification. Because then after that, it's sinker and slider both at 11%, and then change up at 10%, and then everything else below 10%.
I genuinely just didn't realize that many pitchers still threw two-seam fastballs.
Yeah, no, it's definitely two-seam's really a good one because of that that little you can get good movement on it, and with like spin rate being such a thing, it almost, not quite, but almost feels wasted for me on four-seam fastballs.
Really?
Because if you can get that good spin on a ball, make it dance.
Your face and emotion when saying that was golden.
Yeah.
Make it dance.
But for real, because two-seam's going to give the ball a little bit of life to it, even if you don't have like a godly spin rate like a lot of pitchers have these days. So if you can throw with a deadly amount of spin, fucking put it into a pitch that'll actually have some motion behind it.
You got me there.
So that's one of the reasons sliders got really big because of spin rate. And I'm wondering if eventually two-seamers will get more popular, but we'll see.
I hope so. I hope it just stops being four-seam.
It's definitely
boring.
dull. It's definitely
Yeah,
very
boring.
dull. So
unless you're a guy like Jordan Hicks or Aroldis Chapman, where your four-seam comes in at like 100+ miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's it. Even the thing now is like when you see a pitcher throw 100, it's like, oh, that's cool, but you're not like, wow, no one throws 100. It's like, no, like, I mean, fucking feels like every other starter in baseball now can throw 100. They just like choose not to because they have to like pitch for a while, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Garrett Cole throws 100.
I still get excited when I see that 100 pop up.
I mean, no, it's cool, but it's not like, remember when Jordan Hicks hit 105 and everyone was like, wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like that was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Seeing a pitcher go 100, if they hit 100 is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a fast one.
Okay, yeah.
It's not like, I don't mean it out of
now
disrespect.
that you're showing me these emotions, I could totally picture myself be like, oh shit, 100 mile an hour. And then going back to scrolling through Twitter on my phone.
Yeah, like it's fast, but you also know that.
But like when
you've seen one
Jordan Hicks 105, it's like I will watch the rest of this at bat and
yeah,
every pitch.
You're now interestingly curious, like, can he do it again?
Can he do 106?
Yeah, right now it's a whole question of like can he follow this up? And now you're thinking to yourself, wow, his elbow must hurt. And then you're like, yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
And then you forget that he got a Tommy John surgery this year, and when you're doing your bold predictions.
All right, you can chortle my balls.
Oh God, I'm so glad people are using chortle now. I love that word.
It really is good.
It's underutilized.
Well, you got to thank Silicon Valley for that.
Oh, of course.
You yelled at a
my
kid.
balls.
Anyway, I'm almost done doing that thing I was doing. There we go. All right, so now we're in a 2-1 count. So you got the strike.
Yep.
All right, you're not out of danger. That third ball's
Danger
always
zone.
kind of a tricky spot to put yourself in. Obviously, no pitcher wants to be there. Obviously, most pitchers want the strikeout.
Really?
Yeah. Granted, a lot of pitchers also make their bread and butter on not getting anyone out but via strikeout. Dallas Keuchel, Greg Maddux, guys like that. People who I know it's an extreme example. I'm just saying, there are people out there who make their bread and butter on Zach Britton.
Yeah.
Not a strikeout guy. Marcus Stroman.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say, we'll go into the Marcus Stroman thing later because that is a point of discussion. I just want to say, as a Dallas Keuchel fantasy owner, watching Dallas Keuchel pitch is the scariest fucking thing on earth.
Why is that?
Because he throws balls at like 75 miles an hour, and everything just seems to get lobbed up to the defense.
Oh, have a good defense.
Yeah. Again, topic of discussion for Marcus Stroman.
I saw a funny tweet about that, but
yeah.
All right, so four-seam fastball is still dominant, although it is a precipitous decline from what it was with
your vocabulary today. On point, sir.
What can I say? So again, what's interesting is that four-seam fastball went up by number of pitches by a very significant amount. So four-seam fastball on a 2-0 count was 7,200 pitches. Four-seam fastball on a 2-1 count, 9,200 pitches. So a lot more.
Okay.
As a percent of total pitches thrown, it went from 45% to 36%.
That is a very major drop.
It's a very major drop. So let's get into that a little bit because that is confusing. Sorry. So a lot of sliders, 16% sliders, a lot of sliders. After that, changeup. And
I'll take it.
Those are the only three pitches above 10% usage here. That's it.
All right.
That's a weird 3 pitches for 2-1.
Josh Donaldson just got his 1,000th career hit.
Is it only 1,000?
Yeah.
Jesus, it feels like so many more.
I know. I agree.
Really goes to show you how hard 3,000 hits is.
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah. Or Robbie Cano's 2,500 that he got this year.
Yeah. He's not getting 3,000.
Yeah, he would need conservatively 3 to 4 more
500
seasons.
More.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to go by seasons.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I guess 2-1. 2-1, you still have that final ball to play with. So maybe you go like slider and change up because you think to yourself, like, I can put the ball out of the zone and still be alive in this at bat. But if he swings at it, like now we're in 2-2 and this is more advantageous for me, the pitcher, that kind of thing. So maybe that's why that's there. And you see fastball usage as a whole, if you include all the different variations of fastball, really fall off.
Okay.
That's all I got, though.
Yeah. I mean, again, I wish I had some more original thought with this.
It's kind of tough because it's one thing to talk about, like, in the zone, out of the zone. We see that.
Right.
Pitch sequencing is this mental part of the game that we can kind of talk about from this based on, like, what we're used to seeing in a game and basic logic that we have as strict observers. But we're never going to know. We never played the game to this level.
Mm.
We're never going to know.
You think we could interview CC about this?
I would die. So I'm going to say, yeah, let's do it. Let's go hit him up on whatever we can. All right, 2-2. This is a fun one.
Oh, boy.
So forcing fastball drops again while also increasing in pitch number.
Really?
Yeah. So it goes from 9,200 pitches in a 2-1 count to 13,000 pitches in a 2-2 count. And drops from 33% usage to 36% usage to 33% usage.
Okay.
Yeah. This might actually end up being the closest these two numbers have ever been because at 21% usage we have slider. And this feels like what I was just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Slider and changeup are still 2 and 3, although changeup dipped from 14% to 13%, which is negligible. Mm-hmm. And slider jumped from 16% usage to 21% usage, which is noticeable, especially when you're talking about such like a distribution of so many pitches as there are. While fastball usage as a whole dropped again. So I'm very willing to say that what I just said for 2-1 is more applicable for 2-2.
I would agree with that.
Cool. Then, shall we enter where I'm very curious about?
Full
three
count.
ball. 3-0, 3-1, and full count.
Okay. Yes.
3-0. Wow, this sucks for you.
All right. Is it over 65%?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it
Not
over
by much, though.
Oh, okay.
It's 68.
Okay.
Which is like, please, God, let this either be down the middle for a strike or let him pop it up. Because goddamn, do I not want to walk this honky motherfucker.
Do you think pitchers talk like that
I
nowadays?
think all of them have southern accents like that. Yeah. Yeah, there are two other pitches that have over 10% usage. They are both fastballs.
Really?
Yeah.
So no changeup.
Two-seamer and splitter. Changeup comes in at 2%.
Wow.
Slider comes in at 2%.
So like I said,
Curveball comes in at 0% with 20 pitches thrown on 3-0.
Yeah, 20.
20. Like I said, and this very much so validates my thinking, which I feel like I needed after so many days of being wrong. You need a strike. The pitcher's out there thinking like, I'm either mechanically just feeling funky or I just have been nibbling, whatever, doesn't matter. I need a strike. The most reliable pitch that every pitcher can throw for a strike at whatever speed it is the fastball.
I'm just so surprised that it's not changeup.
If you total it all together, 92% of pitches thrown on 3-0 are a variation of fastball.
Damn.
Actually, if you add in cutters, it goes up to 96. That's nuts.
I was so excited to be something, get something right for once, have things go Millhouse's way.
Looks like things are coming up Millhouse.
The ground is flooded, but my pants are dry. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Hello, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
Oh, Ralph Wiggums.
Anyway, continue.
Can we just watch The Simpsons after this? No. Okay. But yeah, no. My hypothesis was wrong. That's all I had to say about that.
So, how much do you think this changes for 3-1? So, all right. So you survived the 3-0 count. You didn't give up the walk. You got a strike. You're back in it, right?
Yeah.
Kinda. You still have no room for error if you're really trying to avoid this walk, but there is now hope, but it's dark.
I think four seam is still going to be over 60%, but it's going to go down from 68.
Check this shit. It's not even 50%.
What?
It's 49. It drops 15 percentage points by usage.
How? I mean, obviously I know how because this is stuff that has happened, but why?
Now, the grouping of fastballs that I said before, four-seam, two-seam, and sinker, are still all the only pitches above 10% usage. And if you total them all up, it's still really high. Like, two-seam stayed at 12%, sinker stayed went from 12 to 11%. But other pitches kind of like, I guess, took that 15 from four-seam. So, like, changeup went from 2% to 8%. Curveball went from 0 to 2%.
So basically, it's the same thought process of let's not throw 7 straight four-seam fastballs.
Right.
Let's change it up. Now we can try something with a little more movement.
Yeah. So like I'm thinking like what you thought like why didn't they throw a changeup on 3? I'm thinking that's where it comes in now. Like all right, so I just threw him a fastball, and I got a strike. He's probably expecting another one of those. Let's throw something that he'll swing over the top of.
There you go.
To that effect. Or with slider now it jumped from 2% to 9%, get him swinging at that. So it's still not a lot of usage. It's still very much so the overarching fastballs domain, but other stuff's creeping in, which brings us to what I'm most curious about. Full count. 3-2. Everyone's sweating this.
I think it's going to be a wild fucking West of like numbers are flying everywhere. Guys are getting kicked off their horses. Just like everything's got something.
I genuinely don't know what to expect from this. I really don't. Because as a pitcher and hitter, thusly, it truly goes both ways. Yeah. Like, you have no room for error from avoiding that walk. The batter has no room for error for avoiding that strikeout outside of foul balls. Mm-hmm. So you know that the batter is going to be slightly more inclined to swing defensively, which means he's not trying to like take it out of the park. He's just trying to like get wood on it. And you know that he's going to be looking for specific things. You know, like if you're a good curveball pitcher and that's been your strikeout pitch, you might be sitting curveball. That's what that means, waiting for a specific pitch. If you're a power pitcher, that hitter might be sitting fastball. So this is going to come down to like a lot of context and a lot of like what were the previous pitches thrown that at bat. Like I'm really curious about where this ends up. So okay. It actually goes kind of back to form, I gotta say.
Back to normal?
Yeah. If I said this was the distribution for like what was my 1-2 distribution? It's kind of around there.
So you're saying everything is coming up Millhouse because I got this one right?
Yeah, I'm saying maybe 3-2 the pitcher just pitches his game.
Fuck yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do if I was a pitcher. Just you do you.
Yeah, so forcing fastball goes down in usage again. It goes from 49% to 41%, although what's hilarious is that it doubles in actual pitches. It goes from 5,093 total pitches in the 3-1 count to 10,102 pitches in the 3-2 count.
Wow.
Now, granted, you can also hold a 3-2 count for much longer than you can hold a 3-1 count, which
also
you can't hold a 3-1 count at all. Whereas 3-2 counts, you can just keep fouling them bitches off.
Yeah. All right. Again, with reasoning and logic.
Plus, you can get to a 3-2 count via, 0-2, 1-2, and 2-2, whereas 3-1's the only. But still, that's kind of hilarious. So it does go down to 41%. There are only two other pitches that have over 10%, and they're actually not the fastball categories. It's slider at 17% and changeup at 10%. So throughout this whole process, we've seen forcing fastballs dive precipitously. Not only in as we add strikes for this 3-ball count, but pretty much as we add strikes anywhere. So it seems like forcing fastballs, while always being the most commonly thrown pitch, do tend to be early count pitches. Now, if you ever hear this expression, a pitcher pitching off of his fastball, this would fit that narrative. Because that idea is your fastball establishes the at-bat, right? You throw the fastball to give him a look at what you're throwing, and then you throw the changeup to show the same arm angle. You throw the slider to show him your movement. You throw the curveball to show him a pitch that starts high and go, you build off of it that way via whatever trickery you have in your arsenal, but you start with the fastball. That's a very, very old school way of doing it. Or a very old school expression, I should say, that apparently would hold pretty fucking true to today's game. Which I think we also mentioned at some point last episode.
I think so.
I forget what the context was, but
yeah, I don't remember either.
I definitely remember saying this.
My memory is so shot anyway that I forget even the last time we did record.
Yeah, all of you listeners should just listen to all of our old episodes on a loop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who needs music, other podcasts, conversations
family,
with
friends.
other people? Yeah.
So
how long do you think someone could survive doing that?
What?
Listening to only our podcast and having no other interaction?
Well, this is going to be the 60th of them, so we've got about 60 hours. So that's about 3 days.
But no, I'm not saying the time.
No,
I'm saying how long could
so
they
here's
do
what I'm
that?
getting with it. So that's about 3 days, including sleep, of our podcast. If you sleep 4 hours a day, because you're just so consumed. So that means that if you spent a week doing this, you would have listened to the same episodes, the same conversation, the same banter, twice. 60 times. I think, honestly, you would give up after day one. if you really loved us, Mom, I think I honestly think you could probably get through a week of this. I genuinely think you get through where you'd be like, all right, now the concepts are sitting in. I think after that, though, you'd be thinking to yourself, like you'd be trembling. You couldn't turn on the news because you'd see baseball and you'd hear me and Corwin saying some dumb shit. You know, your friend says something about, yeah, you want to watch the game? No!
No baseball!
Slaughter! And yeah, and then it all comes to pieces.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really hated us, Mom, then I think you could probably make it through like half an episode.
You look at the title of the episode. That's how far you'd get.
Oh, wait, this is Juicing the Numbers?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. What are they selling on those home selling channels?
Channel 50, man, the religious preacher on just a 24-hour loop that my
What's
mom would
Joel
make us
Osment
watch.
up to today?
That's what my mom made us watch whenever we were in trouble, but she also didn't want us to turn off the TV for some reason. She would just make us only watch, like, the religion channel.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It usually worked better than just me stubbornly sitting there watching a black TV, so... Mom, you're fucking smarter than I was.
There you go, Mom. You finally won.
Please love me again.
Anyway, yeah. So 3-2 count seems to be pretty much just what pitchers like to throw. Okay, hold on. There's one singular pitch out on a 3-2 count. I don't understand that. Because if you're pitching him out, that means that you walk
giving up a walk, but you might be saving a steal.
Unless you want to pitch out in the zone for a throw him out, strike him out, throw him out double
Buster
play.
Posey?
But I'm dying to know what that one pitch out is. That's amazing. Who did that?
I really would love to know. I don't know if we can find that out.
Because that sounds like the stupidest thing in the world, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's hilarious. Oh, my God. Wow. Okay. All right. So I want to tie this back in very briefly, if I may, with the league's batting average in these counts.
Okay.
So we don't have to spend nearly as much time on this because I figured we'd just do batting average.
Sure.
Maybe also on base percentage to account for the walks.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. So first pitch. So we were working on a 0-0 count. So we saw a lot of fastballs, right?
Naturally.
The league's batting average on the first pitch is .351.
Not ideal.
No. So that means that the entire league on the first pitch is batting like better than Cody Bellinger right now in terms of average.
If the entire league bat at the same level for all of the pitches, all of them would win the batting title.
As a 987 OPS.
Ugh.
Yeah, the on base percentage is .361, which means there's probably just like some errors and shit that lead to people getting on base from balls in play. But yeah,
I feel like also probably because there's no walking.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to be low. Yeah, it's close to it because there's no walking, but it's probably a little bit higher than the batting average because balls in play.
Maybe pitchers should just stop throwing first pitches and just go straight to like 2 or 3.
Well, I think what I'm most interested in seeing here is like how is fastball usage going to like affect this? You know what I'm saying?
When they show those, this is a total non sequitur that I'm totally cutting you off for. You know how when they have those overlays of like a fastball and a changeup?
Yeah.
And you see the pitches go in 2 different spots.
Hashtag pitching ninja.
Of course. Thank you, Rob.
I really hope Rob
Friedman's
Friedman's
Jewish. What would happen if a pitcher tried throwing 2 balls at once?
If you hit either one, like, does it count?
Yeah, and if you hit both, it automatically doubles the total bases that you get.
Well, I don't think you'd ever hit both.
Imagine if you fucking did, though.
But, like, I don't... Do you get 2 bats?
Yes.
Do you just start, like,
get
windmilling?
one in each hand? No, there's 2 guys on opposite sides of the plate. There's 2 batters at a time.
All right, no, we're moving on from this.
No. Oh, come on. I just got so into this.
No, we're moving on. Anyway.
Fine, I'll make my own podcast with blackjack and hookers.
A 1-0
Oh,
count.
Blurns ball.
Actually, we'll go 0-1 because that's the way we did it before. But we'll add strikes. So 0-1. Batters are hitting 328.
Damn.
So like it goes down a bit, but you're still batting,
batting
well
really
over
well.
300. Yeah. Were a lot of fastballs thrown on that on 0-1?
I mean, obviously.
I mean, 33%, which
That's
is
not a lot
no
compared to everything else.
Yeah, not when we get into like the heavy ball counts. Like, yeah, that's not that bad.
Talk
Okay.
about what about when the first pitch that the pitcher throws is 2 feet over your head?
Oh yeah. It's like a Zdeno Chara ball right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Their on base percentage is 338, which is about 10 points higher, so it's pretty negligible. 0-2. Ooh, 0-2 is different. 0-2 batters are hitting, are averaging, I should say, 152.
Yeah, pitchers should just go straight to 0-2 counts.
So what changed on 0-1 to 0-2 that makes that so drastically different? Did we have any big changes? Four-seam fastballs actually went up.
Is it guys just taking pitches more?
33% to 32%, 35%. What? I don't know because it's batting average.
Oh yeah, so it wouldn't be walk.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I don't know.
Sliders go up as well, and
Guys throwing their own stuff more instead of fastballs.
I don't know. Curveballs go up a tick, but changeups also go down a tick, so it's like revenue neutral there. There are fewer other types of fastballs thrown, like cutter goes down, sinker goes down, two-seam goes down. So it looks like if there's a fastball thrown, it's more likely to be a four-seam fastball. But I would have actually thought that would make it a higher batting average. So I don't know. This could be a mental part of the game that's just not going to be captured here. You know, like the batter's just antsy or is like really looking to take a pitch because he doesn't think you're going to throw a strike.
Right.
Like this is a good count for a ball. Like,
Yeah.
why not back off and take a pitch?
Yeah.
But I don't see anything here because like sliders went up, but they went up 5 percentage points. That's not enough to account for a 200-point drop in batting average. You know?
Yeah, I don't. Fucking Rob, we need your help, man.
Yeah, let's just go on to a 1-0 count. So 1-0 batters are hitting 354
Ooh.
for a 357 on base percentage. So not a lot of other types of hits going on there, which is fine. Yeah, that's huge. 35% four-seam fastball usage. So sure, let's accept that. Let's move on to 1-1. 333 batting average.
Fuck?
So still super high.
So the first 2 pitches is when batters just get all their hits.
Fucking seems like it. It seems like unless you
Or
have
for
2
3
strikes on,
pitches,
batters are just godly.
Yeah, I guess so.
So in 1-1 counts, let's just look at four-seam fastball usage again. It's still like 32%. Slider percent went up and changeup percent went up. It's like it's nothing crazy. Let's look at 1-2. Let's add another strike. Goes down to 167. Like a huge drop off again.
Do batters forget how to hit after 3 pitches?
Like this has to be just a weird mental part of the game we're just not going to get.
Because, like, this isn't something we could chalk up to, like, oh, this is just, rounding and just math working out the way
This
it
is
is. Like,
huge.
this is massive jumps.
And our four-seam fastball use for 1-2 is exactly the same as it is for 1-1. In fact, a lot of these are pretty similar. Changeup goes down. Curveball goes up a bit. Slider goes up. Nothing. They're all pretty much in line with what we've been talking about this whole goddamn day. Like all right. Let's go on to 2-0. I don't know.
So what I hate most about our podcast is the more we do it, the more infuriated I get with the sport of baseball.
I understand. 2-0. Batters are hitting 360. It makes sense. You need to throw a strike here. I think we talked about this. There's going to be a lot of four-seam fastballs. And there are. 45% of the time, it's a four-seam fastball.
Yeah.
I can accept this very readily. a 2-1 count. 353.
Okay. All right.
It's still really high. It went down a tick. But again, this is a hitter's count. I'm going to put that in quotes. So I guess you'd be expecting another fastball, and you probably get it. 36% usage. 2-2. Do you think we're going to see a drop off again?
I do.
I feel like you're right.
I hope I'm right.
182.
You, what the fuck? What the fuck?
All right. Let's not even talk about it. 3-0. All right, this is going to be.
This has to be high.
So the batting average on 3-0 is 380.
Holy shit!
So on the first pitch, batting average 351. Second pitch, on a 1-0 pitch. Yeah.
Yeah. First ball.
No. On the first pitch, it's 351.
Yeah.
On a 1-0 pitch, 354. 2-0, 360. 3-0, 380.
What is it on?
Throw first pitch strikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw first. Like seriously, the batting average, and this isn't going to sound like a lot, but the batting average goes 1-0, 354. 0-1, 328. Those are both still high. It's a 30-point difference. All right. So anyway, 3-1. Jesus, it's a 368 batting average. I mean, I guess you're still expecting fastballs, and like we said, you're still getting them. 49% usage is the second highest. So I can accept it. I am not thrilled. I can accept it. That brings us to the final one. This is by far the most. I forgot to do on base percentage here, my friend.
Anthony Rendon just hit a 2-out grand slam.
Ooh, he's upset.
Yeah, he walked. Never mind.
That guy in blue with the tomahawk on his chest looks pretty unhappy about his situation.
I watched every pitch he threw. He is not having a good night.
Yeah,
he's thrown like.
What count was it?
2-0.
The 2. Oh, that was middle.
Yeah,
felt high. That was a terrible pitch.
So they just showed Anthony Rendon's stats for, bases loaded or runners in scoring position with 2 outs this season. He's batting like 360 with like 10 doubles, 10 walks, 5 home runs, just fucking killing it.
Yeah. Not an all-star. No, I'm kidding. He was an all-star this year.
Should have been a starter.
All right, so I forgot to give on-base percentage. Let's go back to that real quick. A 3-0 count has... Oh, my God. Oh, I'm not sure you're ready for this. A 3-0 count has a 380 batting average and a 936 on-base percentage.
What?
Which means that there is a 74% chance... Sorry, a 7.4% chance you don't get on base. That's it. 7.4% chance you...
All right.
93.6% chance you get on base on 3-0.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
If you or I, if the both of us were put in a batter's box with a 3-0 count against a major league pitcher, and the major league pitcher didn't know we were a bunch of schmucks.
So he thinks we're like call-ups.
Right.
We're getting on base.
We would get on base?
We're getting on base. I now can't not believe we're getting on base.
Yeah. Mathematically, we have to get on base.
936 on base? It just sounds dumb. It just sounds so dumb. How many double plays do you think have happened? This is a stupid stat, but I'm just looking at these dumb numbers.
On a 3-0 count?
Yeah.
Double plays?
Yeah. For reference, on a first pitch, there were 391.
Okay, I was not guessing that high. I'm going to say 60.
6.
Get fucked.
Yo. Ready? Ready? How many intentional walks?
More than 6.
500.
500?
500.
Is that just this season?
Oh, this is for 1988 on.
And there were still only 6?
But that's even worse.
Oh, that is so much worse.
That's
There were 6 since 1980?
1988. There have been...
That is semantics at this point.
Yeah.
There have been 6 double plays.
Wow, that is shocking.
Imagine being one of those fucking assholes. There's a 7% chance that you get an out and you get 2 of them.
I'm just floored.
Mathematically, there should be way more than 6.
I know. Moving on. 3-1 had a 368 batting average and a 715 on base percentage.
Ugh.
Full count. All right. What do you think? So we have the 2-strike thing that we already encountered, but now we have the 3-ball thing, which has been equally as goofy.
Yeah.
Where do you think we end up?
Over 1,000
1,000 what?
on base percentage.
You can't be over 1,000 because 1,000 means you got on base.
And I think it's going to be more.
It can't be on a 3-2.
Are you asking specifically about on base percentage?
No, give me a batting average on base split.
I think batting average is going to be like 205, and I think that on base percentage is going to be like. Wow, what do I want this to be? I think it's going to be like 600. Nah, 500.
Dude, you are so shockingly close.
Really?
Yo, yeah, like for real. When you said 205, you want to know what it is?
What?
204.
No!
Yeah!
Yes!
And then when you change it from 600 to 500, you know what on base percentage is?
What?
452.
Fuck yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
I peaked, Mom.
So, batting average goes up, which is funny because it was so low. So, like, for 2-strike counts, 0-2. 152 batting average, 1-2, 160, 2-2, 182, full count 204. So it goes up,
Right.
It does, but it's really bad.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, I guess having more pitches makes more sense, or more balls makes more sense because you're putting it together a more competitive at bat. So like maybe you're just like looking at different things or whatever, but it's still weird to think that with 2 strikes and no balls, a 152 batting average, a 2 strikes and 3 balls, full count, a 50-point increase in batting average. I
guess it's just a higher willingness to swing, maybe.
That's what I can't tell because we're talking about batting average. It's not on base. We're talking batting average. So you can't just say
We're not talking about games. We're talking about practice.
maybe you know what this. Maybe it's because more pitches end up in the zones. So it's not about your swings. It's about where the pitches actually end up.
That's true.
Because there's now three balls, so you want to throw a strike.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck,
And then
man.
on base percentage going down a lot makes a lot of sense because batting average with 2 strikes is way lower than batting average with fewer strikes.
So throw first pitch strikes and get your hits in very early. First 3 pitches is when you need to get those strikes.
So-
Not those strikes, those hits.
And I'm gonna do one more thing with this before I close it out. I know we've been doing this for a while. We've had a string of longer episodes recently. Suck it up.
What are we at now?
We're at like 1 hour 15.
Oh, okay.
Here's how drastically sequence an at bat can change. Right. Give me, what do you want to start with? This pitcher, a ball or a strike?
Strike.
All right, so you threw a first pitch strike. So that means the batting average went down. The likely batting average went down from 351 to 328.
Okay.
What do you want to do
Ball.
next? A ball? All right. So 0-1 was a 328 likely batting average. A 1-1 goes actually up a little bit to 333. So we're about the same ballpark.
All right, another ball.
2-1 count. So now you went from that 333 up to 353. So that's 25 points higher than after that first pitch. You're now basically at a 0-0 count in terms of batting average. So you've done yourself no good. You're treading water.
But you've wore the pitcher out a little bit, you know. There's some good to be had.
Oh, actually, I was talking about it from the pitcher's perspective.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, continue. What do you want next?
Strike.
All right, so we go from 2-1, which is a 353 batting average and the 355 on base percentage, to a 2-2 count. Huge change. So like I said, 353 and 355. It now goes down to 182 and 188. And that is massive.
That is huge.
We can end it there. That's massive. And that's why sequencing matters a lot. Because it's not just like, what do I throw next? It's how do I set myself up for the best possible results, right? Ultimately, that appears to be nearly any two-strike count. But regardless, that's what you have to keep in mind. Because as you throw more balls and put yourself in worse counts, you have to throw worse pitches, i.e. pitches that are more likely to be hit. And as you put yourself in better counts, you have to throw better pitches, i.e. pitches that the batter's less likely to hit. It really, really matters.
Shit, man. I know nothing about baseball.
We're on this journey together, my friend. We're on this journey together.
Anything you want to say on this, or do you want to move on to the Mets?
All right, let's talk about Marcus Stroman and get out of here, because I don't get it. They also traded Jason Vargas today. Did you see that?
Yeah, to the Phillies.
Yeah, so I don't know what the plan is.
Yeah, I mean, it's an improvement, but why are you improving?
That's what I'm saying.
I get why they did it, because
I don't. Explain to me your logic.
They gave up practically nothing.
Oh, okay. So on that end, yes.
Yeah, like, if I feel like it's due diligence for GMs to at least reach out and see what the price would be. And I feel like the Mets were like, seriously, like, this is what you want from Marcus Stroman? I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, take him. Sure. Send him on over. So from that perspective, I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, why they're buying pitchers at this point, I have no idea why they would want. Like, they're not.
But on that end, I don't get it from the Blue Jays' perspective, because that's the best that was out there.
Impossible.
Yeah, I literally can't. I can't believe on either person's end. Like, I can't believe the Mets got him, because how many games out do you think the Mets currently are from the Braves?
15.
A little bit less. 11.5.
Okay.
11.5 though, and they haven't.
11 after tonight.
They have not been playing good baseball all season. Like that. That's going to be 11.5 and growing.
Right.
Like, one additional starting pitcher is not the Mets' problem.
Like, they showed it earlier in this game. The Braves are essentially tied with the Nationals for, like, the second best record in baseball since the All-Star break. And the Mets are not.
Let's look at. I want to see, what do you think the Mets starting pitching or their ERAs are looking like here?
I feel like Syndergaard is now back in the high threes. I feel like DeGrom is in the low threes. Wheeler is going to be high threes, low fours.
That's actually pretty ugly. DeGrom is a 2.86, and then Syndergaard is a 4.33, and Wheeler has a 4.71.
Okay, so I was very, very, I guessed very, not conservative. Liberally, yeah.
Yeah, so actually, let me pull up Jason Vargas's as well, because we have to assume that he's about replacing Marcus Stroman is about replacing Jason Vargas. So we can just do a 1-to-1 there and see if we can extract a meaningful amount of wins out of however many starts remaining Marcus Stroman would have is going to have in New York. So as of right now, recording this on July 29th. So we're doing this nice and good ahead of time of everybody listening to it.
Just imagine going from, like, the Blue Jays, which are, like, one of the better up-and-coming, more exciting teams to play for. They have Vlad, they have Big E.O., they have Bo Bichette now. And now you go to play for the Mets, who just have no hope at all.
Apparently, Stroman was really upset that he didn't get traded to a contender.
Yeah, I heard he, like, blew up that locker room before he
left. I don't
left.
blame him.
I don't either.
So Marcus Stroman right now has a this is how bad the Blue Jays have been. He has a 2.96 ERA and has a win-loss record of 6-11.
He had a 2.96.
Yeah, that's current.
And he got given up for two low-level.
I think they're both like double-A
prospects.
Yeah, that's nothing.
What the fuck?
So he has a FIP of 3.52 and a WHIP of like 1.23. We'll say
his FIP is lower than any of their actual starters' ERAs.
So Jason Vargas right now has a 4.01 ERA, and it's just how hilarious baseball is. A winning record at 6-5. And he has a 4.71 WHIP FIP, and a 1.27 WHIP. So 4.71 FIP, 1.27 WHIP.
I'm going to be honest. I've watched 3 Jason Vargas games this year. He's won all of them.
You know what's hilarious is that he has a complete game shutout.
Which he shouldn't. That's why there is such thing as a Vargas rule.
He actually has 13 complete games.
This year or
no,
all
all time.
Okay, I was going to say.
He had 4 in 2011.
Damn.
Right?
Does he have any awards at all?
He was an all-star in Kansas City in 2017 before joining the Mets. I remember because I had him on my fantasy team that year. He won 18 games that year, which led all of baseball.
Yeah, I think I remember either trying to trade him from you, or trading him to you.
I don't remember.
There was something between us with Jason Vargas.
Yeah, I genuinely don't remember. Regardless, though, their difference in WAR is about 2. So Stroman will be a welcome addition to the.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. Not just marginally, noticeably.
Right.
Over Vargas.
They will have one of the better rotations in all of baseball.
But now one of the things that's curious about this is that, and we referenced this a little bit earlier, Marcus Stroman has the highest ground ball percentage in quite literally all of baseball.
Yes.
The Mets have the worst defense in quite literally all of baseball. By every single metric you can possibly scrape together in your mind, the Mets are rated at the bottom of all of them. It's so bad that Jeff McNeil, the only bright spot in this team so far, outside of Jacob deGrom, is their...
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso. Regardless, is their leader in most defensive categories in right field, left field, I believe second base, third base. He leads their defensive production categories in 4 out of the reasonably 7 positions one could be expected to play.
I think he was also really, really close in center field, too.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Just reps are probably the only thing keeping him from that.
Right. It's
the Mets are fucking bad at defense. And they just picked up... Yeah, I understand. Marcus Stroman's a really, really great pitcher, and he will be better than Jason Vargas for sure. But they just picked up the guy that is going to make their defense do the most possible work, and their defense is awful.
Regardless of what they gave up to get him, you traded for a guy at peak value when he will quite literally not improve at all with your team. He can't improve those stats with your team because he doesn't fit in at all.
And he only has 1 more year of control after this. So unless the Mets plan on extending him...
Or competing...
Yeah, they either need to extend him a reasonable amount or field a competitive team for the 2020 season. And I have zero confidence in their ability to do that.
God, no.
It's the Mets. So I don't get why the Mets would want to... It seems like selling would make more sense and just accepting prospects.
Without question.
A la the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Back when they did all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get rid of... The fact that they're being so stingy with Thor 2 makes no sense to me. He has not been good the past... I don't mean he's been bad, but he's not been good the past 2 seasons. He was pretty roughed up last season with all the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And you still want to ask upper market prices for him? I don't get that. And then they're doing the same thing with Wheeler, who's been even worse this year than... He
had one, 3/4, half of a good season in his career.
Yeah, the second half of last year when he posted a 1.9 ERA over the post All-Star break, second half of the season stretch was it. That's it. And I don't get why they're being so hard on selling when it makes so much more sense. Not even that they need to be bad. They can get more pieces. If they trade for Stroman and they got rid of Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Vargas, okay, because then you have 2 good starting pitchers in Stroman and DeGrom. Matz is there. You can sign another starting pitcher in the offseason. You can make another trade for another starting pitcher, and then boom, you're one free agency acquisition and trade away from having an interesting top 5 between DeGrom 1, Stroman 2, and then 2 other dudes at 3 and 4, and then Matt's there at 5, right? Or other arms they have coming from the minors, whatever.
there's something they could do.
Right, and then you have whatever pieces you get from selling Syndergaard and Vargas and what's-his-face, Wheeler. But they're not. And I don't think the team they have now can do it because their bats suck.
It's ridiculous.
The Cano signing did not work out.
Nope.
The Lowry signing is not working out. Frazier is even if he is working out this year, he's gone after this year. This is the final year of his contract. Alonso's still there. That's good for you. McNeil's still there. That's good. Wilson Contreras has been pedestrian.
Wilson Ramos.
Oh fuck yeah, Wilson Ramos.
I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Conforto's been fine. Nimmo's been fine.
Neither of them are playing up to the level they were last year.
I can't even think of who that third outfielder is because it's usually McNeil, but I forget who's there when he's not there.
Fuck, I don't know. I
Is
usually
it Johan
picture,
Camargo?
Maybe. I always just picture McNeil in left field.
Because he's been playing there a lot recently. Oh, because they have who's that shortstop they have? Rosario?
Yeah, Ahmed Rosario.
Yeah. Who's been fine, I guess.
Nothing great.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you what he looks like right now.
If you asked me to describe the Mets, it would be meh. And that's how you describe more than half of those players.
And that's why they should just suck it up, swallow their pride, and either be bad or spend money. Because they're not doing either. And those are your two options. This is what people mean by the Mets suck perpetually, is that they don't just pick a lane.
They can't commit. Yeah, they can't commit. They're stuck in purgatory.
For real. And this Stroman signing is so indicative of it. Because it's why would you go do something that benefits the team, benefits a team that you don't have?
Again, because it was cheap. Like, the value of that deal is there, but you're not backing it up with anything else. The best thing they could do is fucking trade Marcus Stroman.
I was about to say, how much do you want to bet that the Mets sell Stroman at the 2020 trade deadline?
Almost infinite.
Is it higher or lower than the 3-0 count on base percentage?
Ooh. So we're saying 7% chance it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it was a 93.6% chance of happening.
Higher.
I would too, because that's the only way this makes.
The only way it doesn't is if he gets hurt.
The most Mets thing ever, which will. No, that's the most Mets thing ever.
That's the most Mets thing ever.
I was going to say the most Mets thing ever would be trading for a guy in his rookie contract just to trade him away before you need to sign him to a bigger, better contract.
Of course, yeah.
But fuck, are they a confusing franchise in every single way, and the Wilpon should be forced to sell it. But
sorry for my dad growing up as a Mets fan.
I have no sympathy.
Yeah, I don't either. He's not a Mets fan anymore.
Yeah, we're all Yankees fans in the end.
Ugh. It sucks because the Yankees are still the team I watch most often. Just because they're always on.
You're welcome.
You can't avoid them.
We are inevitable.
Good
all right.
quote, though.
Anyway, you got anything else to say for today?
No.
All right, well, if you want to follow the show, you can do so on Twitter at JuicingPod. If you want to hit us up via email, you can do so at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. And if you want to find the show notes for this episode and all previous episodes, you can do so at juicingthenumbers.wixsite.com/website. And until Monday, y'all have a good one.
Everything's coming up, Millhouse.